In college, Clark was a human highlight reel, shattering both men's and women's scoring records. But here's the kicker. She's not just a scorer. Clark dishes assists like a point guard on a mission, making her a dual threat that keeps defenders up at night. We're talking about a player who can pull up from the logo and thread the needle with a no-look pass in the same possession. Folks, this is the kind of talent that comes along once in a generation. Now, let me tell you, the hype surrounding Caitlin Clark's entry into the WNBA was off the charts. We're talking LeBron James levels of anticipation. In the age of social media, every dribble, every shot, every post-game comment was dissected and amplified. The expectations, sky high, doesn't even begin to cover it. Clark wasn't just carrying the hopes of a franchise, she was shouldering the future of the entire league. That's pressure that would make a diamond crack. But here's the million-dollar question. Could Clark deliver on this mountain of expectations, or would she crumble under the weight? Well, folks, the beginning of Clark's WNBA journey was about as smooth as a potholed road. The Indiana Fever, with their new superstar, stumbled out of the gates with a dismal 1-8 record. You could almost hear the critics sharpening their knives. Is she too small? They asked. Can her game translate to the pros? The doubters were having a field day. It was looking like Clark might join the long list of college superstars who couldn't cut it in the big leagues. The pressure was mounting, and the basketball world was watching, wondering if we'd all bought into fool's gold. But hold on to your seats, because Caitlin Clark wasn't about to go down without a fight. Like all great players, she used those early struggles as fuel. She went back to the lab, adjusted her game, and came out swinging. Suddenly, we saw a more controlled Clark, picking her spots, making smarter decisions. It was like watching a butterfly emerge from its cocoon. The turnaround was so dramatic, you'd think she'd been visited by the ghost of basketball future. Clark wasn't just adapting, she was evolving before our very eyes, and just like that, the critics, they went quieter than a library during finals week. Now, let's talk numbers, because Caitlin Clark's rookie stats are the kind that make statisticians drool. We're not just talking good, we're talking historically good. Leading the league in assists? Check. Among the top scorers? You bet. But it's not just about the raw numbers. Clark is setting rookie records left and right. Total points, total assists, three-pointers made in a season. It's like she's playing NBA 2K with all the cheat codes activated, and here's the scary part for the rest of the league. She's just getting started. Clark isn't just living up to the hype, she's creating a whole new stratosphere of expectations. Let's not forget the impact Clark's having on the Indiana Fever. This is a franchise that had been stuck in the basketball doldrums for years. They hadn't sniffed the playoffs since 2016. It was so bad you'd think they were allergic to winning. Enter Caitlin Clark. Suddenly the Fever are playing with a pulse. They're not just competitive, they're downright dangerous. Clark has single-handedly transformed this team from a punchline to a playoff contender. It's like she walked into the locker room and said, "Losing? We don't do that here anymore." The energy in Indiana? Electric. The fans? They're buzzing like they've had a triple espresso. This, folks, is what a franchise player looks like. Now let's talk butts and seats, because Caitlin Clark is packing them in like it's a Black Friday sale. The Clarkonomics are off the charts. We're seeing attendance records shattered faster than a backboard in a Shaq highlight reel. The Indiana Fever are on pace to draw over 200,000 more fans than any other team in WNBA history. That's not just impressive, that's seismic. Clark isn't just a player, she's a one-woman economic stimulus package for the WNBA. Teams are probably considering hiring her just to play against them to boost their own ticket sales. It's clear when Caitlin Clark comes to town, the no vacancy signs go up at local hotels, and if you think the in-arena numbers are impressive, wait until you hear about the TV ratings. Caitlin Clark is turning WNBA broadcasts into must-see TV. We're talking over 1 million viewers for regular season games. That's unheard of in recent WNBA history. She's going toe-to-toe with the NFL and holding her own. Playoff game drew 2.54 million viewers, numbers that make network executives do a happy dance. The drop-off when Clark's not playing, it's like someone unplugged half the TVs in America. She's not just moving the needle, she's bending it to her will. In the ratings game, it's Caitlin Clark and then everybody else. But here's where things get head-scratching. Despite all this buzz, it seems like some big brands are sleeping at the wheel. Take Nike, for instance. They're putting Clark on the back burner in favor of other stars. It's like having a young Michael Jordan and saying, nah, let's push Kareem's shoes instead. Don't get me wrong, players like Aja Wilson are fantastic, but are they Caitlin Clark level needle movers? The numbers don't lie. This could go down as one of the biggest marketing whiffs since Decca Records passed on the Beatles. Clark isn't just a player, she's a brand waiting to explode. The question is, who's going to be smart enough to fully capitalize on it? Let's talk about Clark's impact on the court, because she's not just playing the game, she's reinventing it. Her style is like a mashup of Steph Curry's long-range bombing and Steve Nash's creative playmaking. She's stretching defenses like silly putty, forcing them to guard her from the moment she crosses half court. This isn't just entertaining, it's revolutionizing how the women's game is played. Coaches are scratching their heads trying to figure out how to stop her. Young players are watching and thinking, I want to play like that. Clark isn't just adapting to the WNBA, she's making the WNBA adapt to her. The impact of Caitlin Clark goes far beyond the stat sheet or the win column. She's become a beacon for young players everywhere. Little girls are picking up basketballs, dreaming of being the next Caitlin Clark. She's changing perceptions about women's basketball, showing that it can be just as exciting, just as skillful as the men's game. High school and college coaches are probably already adjusting their systems, looking for the next long-range sharpshooter with court vision. Clark isn't just a great player, she's a movement. She's doing for women's basketball what the Splash Brothers did for the NBA, making it cool to shoot from downtown and play with flair. So where does this all lead? Caitlin Clark isn't just a bright spot for the WNBA, she might just be the supernova that propels the league into a new era. We could be looking at increased TV deals, more mainstream coverage, maybe even expansion. The question isn't whether Clark can sustain this level of play and popularity. It's whether the rest of the league can rise to meet her. Will we see a new generation of players inspired by her style? Will the WNBA finally get the recognition it deserves? One thing's for sure, the Caitlin Clark era has begun and it's going to be one hell of a ride. Buckle up, basketball fans. The future of the WNBA is here and her name is Caitlin Clark. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's get the conversation going. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome content. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next video.